Just amazing. Hi, everyone. I'm Eric Bowling. Welcome to Cashin In. Our Cashin In crew this week, Wayne Rogers, Jonathan Honig, Michelle Fields, and Basil Smykel. Welcome, everybody. Michelle, the real tension in the heartland, the racial tension in the heartland, lack of opportunity or opportunistic thugs?
These are opportunistic thugs without morals. Look, unfortunately, there are lots of people in this country who are suffering under this economy, but they don't go and damage private property like what's happening in Ferguson. The people in Ferguson, they don't care about Michael Brown. They are trying to get free stuff. That's what this whole thing is about. 163 people have been arrested so far. Only 7 of those 163 people are actually from Ferguson. So what we're seeing is tons of criminal tourism. People are coming from New York, from Chicago, coming to get free stuff and take advantage of a very unfortunate situation.
Dr. Basil, do you mind if I call you that, by the way, PhD and all? What do you think? Is it the opportunistic thugs that Michelle points out, or is it lack of opportunity among the black community in the area and, frankly, in the country?
Well, criminal tourism, I like that term. I'm going to have to use that. I'll give her credit, though. You know, there's a small number of folks that are doing this from outside of the community that are opportunistic. But the reality is that the anger is widespread. So some people may not take to looting, some people are not going to take to violence, but that anger is still there. So the question is, how do they use that anger to promote peace, but also to talk further down the road about how to bring more prosperity?
Is that the best way to do it, Doc? Is that the way to promote peace through, as you point out, anger?
No, well, there's anger there. So the question is, do you use it in a violent way? And clearly, nobody really wants that. If you look at a lot of the pictures that were coming out of Ferguson, there were community leaders there. There were clergy members there standing in front of stores to say, we don't want you coming into this store. Don't trash our community, because this is not going to get us anywhere. We saw that even in the violence in Los Angeles after the O.J. verdict. Right. There were community leaders there and engaged to try to stave off a lot of that violence.
Wayne, we showed some video earlier in the week of a store owner who literally got his storefront shot out with handguns minutes after he had left the store, and then it was completely looted. The store was trashed. All the stuff was taken off the shelves. What does it do? What is as Dr. Basil points out, the anger and the frustration? What does it do to the business community in the area?
Well, I think it destroys all confidence they have in the ability of the community to control itself. You know, Eric, the terrible part about all of this is that the press just promoted something here that was just way out of line. For example, over the weekend of July the 4th, there were 82 shootings in Chicago. 18 people were killed. Hey, where was, you know, the right reverend for that one? I mean, where was he there? When are all of these people who are promoting all of this kind of stuff, why don't they pay attention to other things that are going on? They picked on Ferguson, and they made Ferguson a big thing, and it's not such a big thing.
Okay, we'll get to that. One second. Hold on, Doc. There's something to get Jonathan in here. Jonathan, I'm very, very interested in your point of view on this. What do you think, opportunistic thugs or lack of opportunity in the black community?
Well, these aren't protesters. You know, I mean, the 60s protesters were all about peace and love. The 70s protesters were end the war. Michelle, I don't even think these protesters are about grabbing free stuff. They're just about destruction. They are nihilistic destruction. Throwing Molotov cocktails is not protest. So, you know, this is the idea. This is the philosophy. I don't think it's about poverty. I think it's about philosophy. And it's the same thing from the anti-NATO crowd, the same thing from the Occupy Wall Street crowd. It's destruction for destruction's sake.
Go ahead, Michelle.
There is an entitlement mentality that they feel as though they're owed something. And you saw that in that video of Michael Brown, where he goes into a store, he gets what he wants, and when the elderly shop owner tries to stop him, he just shoves him out of the way. It's this mentality that they're owed something. Well, and you see it right there in Ferguson.
I think on behalf of a lot of black folks in this country, yeah, I would say that there is this widespread sentiment that government and the business community should do more to improve the lives of folks of color in these communities. But don't lump in the people that are actually having substantive conversations about that with the people that are causing violence.
Well, you know what? When they have Reverend Wright down there,
hold on.
You lose all credibility.
You should do more, Doc. You said something. There's a sentiment that government and the business community should do more. Define that.
Well, look, I'm a Maynard Jackson Democrat. And what that means is, former mayor of Atlanta, what that means is I'm about centrist policies that can bring more African Americans and people of color into the middle class. I actually blame Democrats.
Specifically.
I actually blame Democrats and Republicans for not doing more on this. But a lot of the things that used to bring folks of color into the middle class, like some government jobs, but also union jobs, those have receded over time.
Hold on 1 second. Let me get the crowd in. Let me start with you. Go ahead, John. Bring it around, Wayne, and Michelle. Go.
You know who talks about race? Racists. And you know what? If poverty caused terror, Eric, then people at the southern border would be rioting and not trying to come in here to bust tables for $4.50 an hour. This is a problem of philosophy, and I think to focus on race does everyone involved a real insult and a real disservice.
Go ahead, Wayne. Your turn.
Well, I understand. I say, but all due respect, Doctor, Jesse Jackson and those kind of people do not help this. You don't have a African American leader down there who's taking responsibility, who's standing up, who's talking about this.
Well,
you've got Al Sharpton, exactly. I mean, Tawana Brawley, Al Sharpton, I mean, a total fraud, and he's up there representing the black community.
Well, I would
That's
tell
outrageous.
you, listen, he is not the representative of the black community. There are a lot of African Americans that are down there that actually don't listen to him at all.
When you have Al Sharpton there, you lose all credibility.
Excuse me, he pretends to be. He pretends to be, and you've got the press covering it. That's the problem.
All right.
Nobody, you don't have Bill Cosby down there. You know, a responsible black person doing this.
A lot of the folks that are on the ground, part of their anger and frustration is that they don't see Sharpton or Jackson or even the President of the United States right now doing enough to help them. So I do think that there's a disconnect between the community and the leadership that's...
All right, but you know what?
Let me just get Michelle. Go ahead, John, then we'll get Michelle.
Well, protest has existed from the suffragettes through MLK on. Protest has always existed. What hasn't existed is this destruction. And you know what? A lot of these protesters have come in out of town, not to grab free stuff, but just to destroy businesses, destroy the community, and that's today's philosophy nationwide.
All right, very quickly, Michelle. Reverend Sharpton, the Reverend, and I use that term loosely, is having a protest, having a rally as we speak right now here in New York. I'm trying to figure out what is the point of that. Quick thought.
Wait, look, it's all about race. That's what this whole thing is about. They're trying to make it about race. But if I had the mentality of liberals, you know what I would say? If you look at the businesses that have been destroyed in Ferguson, many of them are owned by Asians, yet Asians make up less than 1% of the population in Ferguson. So why aren't you standing up for the minorities there, the Asians there, who are having their businesses destroyed by all of these African Americans?
We're going to leave that as a rhetorical question and end the block with that.